Vic Wilcox, was a New Zealand farmer and trade unionist who was Secretary-General of the Communist Party of New Zealand. Biography. Early life. Wilcox was born in Willesden, London, England on 6 November 1912 to William Wilcox, a railway shunter, and his wife Kathleen Sage. In the mid-1920s, the Wilcoxes emigrated to New Zealand with his family. His father took up dairy farming at Vaharara in Northland, while Vic was educated at Takapuna Grammar School. After completing his education, Wilcox worked on farms in Northland. Woody Crumbo was an artist, Native American flute player, and dancer who lived and worked mostly in the west of the United States. A transcript of his daughter's interview shows that Mr. Crumbo was born on January 31, 1912, so there is a discrepancy of the date until confirmation. Born near Lexington, Oklahoma, Crumbo moved with his mother to Kansas as a child after the death of his father in 1916. Orphaned in 1919, he spent the rest of his childhood living with various American Indian families around Sand Springs, Oklahoma. Julia Smith was an American composer, pianist, and author on musicology. She was born in Denton, Texas. She graduated from University of North Texas College of Music and then continued with graduate studies in piano and composition at the Juilliard School with Reuben Goldmark and Frederick Jacobi from 1932 to 1939, earning a diploma. She simultaneously studied at New York University, earning a master's degree in 1933 and a PhD in 1952. From 1932 to 1939, she served as pianist for the Orchestre Classique of New York, a women's orchestra. Tufton Beamish was a British Army officer and Conservative Member of Parliament for Lewes for 29 years, and an author. Was knighted in 1961, and upon his retirement from the House of Commons was created a life peer as Baron Chelwood of Lewes in the county of East Sussex on 7 May 1974. Beamish was born in Dunfermline in 1917. His father was Tufton P. H. Beamish, who served in the Royal Navy until 1922 when he retired with the rank of captain. Baruch Harold Wood was an English chess player, editor, and author. He was born in Ecclesall, Sheffield, England. Between 1938 and 1957, Wood won the Championship of Warwickshire 8 times. In 1939, he represented England at the Chess Olympiad in Buenos Aires. Wood won the tournaments at Barn, Paynton 1954, Whitby 1963, Tórshavn 1967, and Jersey 1975. He took part in the Gijón International Chess Tournaments of 1947, finishing 5th, 1948 a second. Karel Zeman and was a Czech film director, artist, production designer and animator, best known for directing fantasy films combining live action footage with animation. Because of his creative use of special effects and animation in his films, he has often been called the Czech Melis. Zeman was born on 3 November 1910 in Ostromir in what was then Austria-Hungary. At his parents' insistence, he studied business at high school in Colin. Kurt Lischka, SD, in Paris during the German occupation of France in World War II. Lischka was the son of a bank official. He studied law and political science in Breslau and Berlin. After obtaining his degree, he worked in district courts and in the Provincial Court of Appeal in Breslau. Lischka joined the SS on 1 June 1933, reached the rank of SS Major in 1938, and then SS Lieutenant Colonel on 20 April 1942. On 1 September 1935, Lischka joined the Gestapo and in January 1940 became head of the Gestapo in Cologne. Was a Finnish actor, singer, accordionist and comedian, best known for the role of Pekka Pupia in the Pekka and Petki films from 1953 to 1960. He was also a skilled self-taught accordion player. His son, Esa Pikkarainen Jr., is also an actor. Early life. Esa, officially Felix Esaias Pikkarainen, was born on 9 February 1911 into the family of 6 children of the traveling village shoemaker Paavo Pikkarainen and Angelina Hervonen 1882–1965 in Rockula, North Carolina. Madeline Herlock. His father was a self-taught accordionist. 1897. Madeline Herlock was born on December 12, 1897, the daughter of John W. Herlock, an engineer, and Sally Herlock. She was of English and Italian ancestry. Herlock attended a finishing school in Philadelphia, after which she acted in a repertory theater company there. In New York, Herlock acted and danced in musical comedies at the Century Roof Garden and made her Broadway debut in the ensemble cast of The Rose of China in 1919. Ferdinand O's der Fonten was an SS Hauptsturmführer and head of the Central Office for Jewish Emigration in Amsterdam during the Second World War. He was responsible for the deportation of Jews from the Netherlands to the German concentration camps and was convicted as a war criminal. Life a native of Mulheim in the Ruhr, in the early years of Nazi Germany, Fonten was employed in the Jewish section of the Reich Security Main Office under the command of Adolf Eichmann. E. Chambray Hardman was an Anglo-Irish photographer, later based for most of his career in Liverpool. He was a landscape photographer by vocation, although his business was largely dependent on portraiture. Provenance and early years. Hardman was born in 1898 in Foxrock, Dublin, Ireland. He was the third child and only son of the keen amateur photographer Edward Hardman by his marriage to Gertrude Davies. Hardman described his family as Anglo-Irish, and his father as a land agent for various estate owners and landlords in County Dublin. Torsten Billman was a Swedish artist who worked as a printmaker, illustrator, and buon fresco painter. He counts as one of the 20th century's premier wood engravers. The poet Gunnar Ekelöf wrote about Torsten Billman, "To those who with the word art visualize large, magnificent, striking canvases, Torsten Billman doesn't have not much to offer. His art serves the simple, neglected, homeless of existence. It features the fellows from the Nippon and other ships, marked by the hard life in ports, as well as on board." Jaap Thiem Hien was an Indonesian human rights lawyer. Born in Kutaraja, Aceh, Dutch East Indies, his father was Yap Sin Ang and his mother was Hwan Tijing Neo. Yap's family, living in genteel but reduced circumstances, was part of the Kabang Atas, or the local Chinese gentry. Through his father, Yap was a great-grandson of Yap Asin, Luitnan der Chinesen of Kutaraja from 1901 until 1922, a high-ranking position in the colonial civil bureaucracy. Of Chinese-Indonesian heritage, Yap was an advocate for human rights. Injaya Flatown was an Egyptian painter and activist in the women's movement. She was a leading spokeswoman for the Marxist progressive nationalist feminist movement in the late 1940s and 1950s, as well as a pioneer of modern Egyptian art and one of the important Egyptian visual artists. Gottfried Kov was an Austrian mathematician working in abstract algebra and functional analysis. In 1923, Kerr enrolled in the University of Graz. He started studying chemistry, but switched to mathematics a year later after meeting the philosopher Alfred Castu. In 1927, he submitted his thesis Beiträge zu Finslers Grundlagen der Mendenlehre and was awarded a doctorate.